This is Professor SK presenting another video on the topic reviewing course outcomes, complying with National Education Policy 2020 reference and context Bharat, India. In this presentation, we will see two procedures. One procedure, how to write course outcomes in 4 domains of learning using suitable action verbs. And second portion discusses how to review the course outcomes written earlier, a year or 2 years earlier, in the form of the existing curriculum and improve the curriculum for much more effective implementation. Let us see the details of the content. In view my assumptions while you use this video. Your university has already implemented at least one reform in curriculum and you are not using traditional contents, formats and methodology in formulating syllabus. You already have started understanding basic premises of outcome-based education and have already written disciplinary outcome statements such as vision, mission, program education objectives, program outcomes, and course outcomes to communicate your disciplinary intents clearly. What your students, graduates shall be able to do at the end of a course or a program. This presentation is trying to suggest continuous reforms through an approach to formulate outcome statements using better action verbs and integrating disciplinary, allied multidisciplinary outcomes and a few generic outcomes. To create a tabular documentation of such statements to facilitate faculty in developing better assessment and evaluation processes and instruments for more effective attainments of outcomes. Let us start part 1.1. Writing outcome statements such as course outcomes COs, program outcomes POs, and program specific outcomes PSOs. So we shall try to see the process and the procedures of writing such outcome statements. Syntax or structure of outcome statements like course outcomes or program outcomes. We shall try to discuss the components of the statements. Let us take an example of a CO from interactive domain of learning. At the end of the course, the student will be able to demonstrate, to negotiate with the client company CAO to fetch an order in favor of his organization. Here, negotiate is an action verb. The negotiation shall be completed successfully in allotted time of 25 minutes. So the time of 25 minutes is the criteria of success of accomplishment. In a neutral venue of a restaurant, this is the condition under which the performance of the student will be assessed or evaluated. The expected size of order is 400 to 600 pieces of products. So this is the criteria of assessment. So you will Find another option, order of the value more than rupees 2 lakhs. So the red color shows criteria. Green color shows the condition under which performance is occurring. And violet color shows the action verbs. The color code has been given on the right hand side. In next slide, we shall analyze syntax of COs of some typical course from curricula of a sample HEI Bharat. This time take some CO statements from a course of a HEI Bharat, and the name of the course is Workshop and Manufacturing. Structure or syntax of CO statement is being analyzed. To clearly communicate the format or the syntax of CO statement, we have followed a color code. Violet color to indicate action verb, green color to indicate condition of performance, and red color to indicate the component of sentence which is forming criteria. CO1. Explain the importance of manufacturing, which comprises of materials, processes, and system. Explain is the action verb, and content of the answer like materials, processes, and system is the criteria of assessment. Perform casting of metals, forging, and sheet metal operations through practical classes in a workshop. 85% and above completion of task. Violet color, perform is the action verb. Red color, 85% and above is the criteria of assessing the performance, and in a workshop is the condition under which performance should occur. Execute machining operations on lathe machine and join through arc and gas welding processes in an industry in a logical way so that 80% and above task is completed. So clearly, violet color execute is the action verb, green in an industry is the condition under which performance is expected to take place, and the red logical way so that 80% and above is completed. CO4. Demonstrate operations related to each carpentry, fitting, plastic, molding, computer numerical control machines in college workshop within 2 hours, 90% and above completion of task. So demonstrate is the action verb. Green, they are the conditions of performance, and within 2 hours and 90% completion, these are the criteria. Now we shall consider what kind of critical thinking is required to answer the question how to select an action verb to express the statement like CO or PO or PSO, etc. We shall discuss these issues in next few slides. Learning by human beings is quite complex process. To understand its working, the education psychologists have divided learning into 4 domains. First domain is cognitive domain, which is connected with mind or brain, and it is related to knowledge and understanding about different aspects of the world. It pertains to grasp of fundamental cognitive content, core concepts, basic principles of inquiry, a broad history, critical thinking skills, and creation of new knowledge. Second domain is related to performing manual skills or skills in short. Focus on capacity of applying team's knowledge and skills, analyzing and synthesizing and executing a procedural sequence and its clusters while performing a number of related physical tasks. So psychomotor skill is always performed or expected to perform in a team of colleagues or peers. Affective domain relates to attitudes, values, and feelings. Encompass affective states, personal, professional, social values, and ethical principles, which characterizes his/her behavior of a person while working with others in a team. Interactive domain related to communicating orally with each other or through diagrams or communicating through uh, electronic media, etc. Express reflections related to allied knowledge, skills, and attitudes using suitable cues, sound or body gestures or graphics to communicate attributes of ideas, plans, actions, team members, roles, and contributions. While writing COs and POs, you must consider in which domain of performance you are trying to express your intent, what students should be able to do at the end of instruction. I have just now told that the human learning is divided into 4 domains. Under each domain, there are hierarchy of performances, and this hierarchy works from low to high. Let us first consider cognitive domain. Remember is the lowest performance level and create is the highest performance level under cognitive domain. So, the hierarchical classification of the performance is known as taxonomy. So, the Bloom's taxonomy is related to cognitive domain. It goes from highest to lowest: create, evaluate, analyze, apply, understand, remember, or from lower to high: remember, understand, apply, analyze, evaluate, create. Now, this Bloom's taxonomy has been under use, and many people and many professors must be aware of this. The second domain is psychomotor domain. The simplified taxonomy of psychomotor domain has been divided into 4 levels of performance. The lowest level is observe, imitate, practice, adapt. So, observation, how the skill trainer is performing, and adapting the proficient ways of performing skill is under the adapt. So, observe, imitate, practice, adapt. This is the taxonomy of psychomotor domain. Let us now consider the affective domain. Receive is the lowest level of performance and characterize is the highest level of performance. So the 5 levels of performance under the affective domain is receive, respond, value, organize, characterize. The fourth taxonomy is the interactive skill domain. There are 4 levels of performance. The lowest level is exchange information and highest level is negotiate favors. Exchange information, explain ideas, lead discussions, negotiate favors. These are the four levels of performance under the interactive domain. It is important for the faculty member to understand which domain will be applicable and at what level the COs or POs are being written. When you write COs from the old syllabus, you should write only one CO for one unit of curriculum. So the highest level of performance should be chosen to write the CO. For example, if you can ride a bicycle in a crowded street, you can always ride bicycle on a lonely or vacant road. So all other lower performances are included in the highest level performance. That is how for each unit of syllabus you can write one highest level CO under which all other lowest level related performance are included. There are number of different kinds of outcome statements which are derived after knowing the need from the job market as well as by doing SWOT analysis. These are vision, mission, program educational objectives, graduate attributes or program outcomes, and course outcomes. All these statements have the similar syntax when you consider action verbs, conditions, and criteria. It is not necessary to write elaborate conditions and criteria. However, correct use of action verb is essential while writing in an appropriate outcome statement like vision, mission, PEOs, POs, and COs, etc. I have just now told that selecting and writing appropriate action verb is extremely important for writing all kinds of outcome statements. And when you start writing outcome statements, just to inform the correct verb in different levels of performance, the list of action verbs has been given from slide 10 onwards in 4 or 5 slides. Let us take example of cognitive domain action verbs. At the level of remembering, which is the lowest level of remembering, the action verbs could be cite, define, describe, enumerate. At second level, understanding level, associate, classify, comprehend, convert. Third level, applying level, apply, change, choose, compute. You should avoid using these names of labels of that understand the concept of XYZ. Perform task number so and so. Apply this and that. So these terms, remember, understand, apply, they should not be used because they are very big. And you should always choose the verbs like cite, define, describe, etc. under each levels of action verbs. So in all the taxonomies, for all levels of performance, action verbs have been suggested, which you can get paper print and keep them handy while writing COs and other outcome statements. In this slide, action verbs are given at the level of analyzing, evaluating, and creating. Here are action verbs for the 5 different levels of performance under the affective, domain which is related to the behavior of people. In this visual, action verbs pertaining to psychomotor domain are given. To remove confusion from the taxonomy given in earlier pictures, I have given the equivalence of 4 levels of learning in psychomotor domain: observe, imitate, practice, and adapt, to relate to the action verbs given in this particular taxonomy. In this taxonomy, perception, set, guided response, mechanism, complex overt response, adaptation, origination is given, which is quite complex to understand by general faculty members. And that's why the simplified taxonomy having only 4 levels, observe, imitate, practice, and adapt, was suggested earlier. In this picture, I have described SK Sony's taxonomy for interactive domain. There are 4 levels of performance: exchange information, explain ideas, meditate differences, negotiate favors. And what terms and what action verbs can be considered under these different 4 levels of taxonomy have been given, which you can use while writing interactive domain COs and POs. Let us conclude the video OBE 2.1 Part 1. In this video, we have discussed how to write outcome statements such as course outcomes, program outcomes, and program specific outcomes. The example of COs was discussed in great details. During this discussion, we also focused on how the learning by human beings has been categorized in 4 domains, and within each domain there is a hierarchy of learning levels, what is known as taxonomy. So we have seen what is the taxonomy of learning domains, as well as at different levels of taxonomy what kind of action verbs can be chosen from standard list. Thanks for listening to me patiently. This presentation shall be concluded in the next video, OBE 2.1 Part 2. For clarifications, if any, contact Professor Satish Kumar Soni at the given email and mobile number. Please like and subscribe our channel SKS ET if you wish to get more such useful video programs in future. Thanks again.